Hey guys, see if I can get around this corner here and get my glove back on. There we go. Today we are about just a couple days out from heading out towards to Utah, and all over flying commercial, and it's not going to be a shabby trip to say the least. Hitting going out to Moab, spend some time in the Canyonlands at Arches National Park and Monument Valley area. So really looking forward to that. So I thought I'd pontificate a little today about travel. What is it about traveling that we love so much? And you know, I don't know about everybody else, but I can just tell you what traveling does for me and to me, and so we'll start with that. My mother is from the western part of the state. She came to Norfolk to attend nursing training, and that's where she met my dad, and I'm the result. I and my brother. She always had a love for travel herself. Of course, we spent a lot of time going back and forth to the mountains of her home and visiting relatives up there. At age 2, she took me for my first airplane ride. Now, I have no memory of that trip, none whatsoever, but it was the first time I was ever on an airplane. It was a commercial airliner. They're going out to the western part of the state to visit my grandfather, who was quite ill. And my mom would say to her dying day how I cried to get back on the airplane. And apparently that die was cast, and I knew I was going to become a pilot. I was obsessed with flying from that point forward. Just had this overall obsession. Anyway, I took flight training, became a pilot, became an instructor pilot, and logged quite a bit of flight time. Owned a couple of airplanes, and logged well over 10,000 takeoffs and landings. It's important that the takeoffs and landings actually match in your logbook, and they do. So according to the book, The Outlier, that qualifies me as an expert. I did something 10,000 times. So, you know, I left aviation at the top of my game. I have no regrets. It was a financial situation. So, and yeah, it'd be fun to go back into it, but I found a replacement. Traveling with Miriam on the Spyder works. So what is it about travel anyway that we love and we just can't seem to get enough of? Well, I'm fond of saying it's not what magic carpet you ride as long as your carpet has magic. So it doesn't make a difference if you ride a Spyder, drive a sedan, fly an airplane, a skateboard, a Segway. As long as you're moving and you're exploring and you're traveling, I think that you get the same results. I know for me personally that when I travel, I actually separate myself from my day-to-day life, and I can look back on my life with a different perspective, and that gives me the ability to, you know, make sure that I'm going where I want to go. And I'm not talking about just a travel, a trip. It's about in life. So am I on the right path that I want to be on? So when you're outside looking in, it gives you a different perspective, and I like that. So that's the chief reason that I enjoy traveling. Plus, I just find it relaxing and rewarding. I just know when I got back from the Asphalt Odyssey, I was on a high for weeks after that. I think it changed me. I think any good travel should change us. But anyway, I'm getting too deep. Well, that's my thought about that. So I gotta put the Spyder back in the garage because I've got to run one more big errand. Our Parakeet has to go to daycare. We can't leave him at home for a week while we're in Utah, so we have a place we take him and board him. It's a pretty good drive, and he hates to drive, but so let me get it on back to the garage, get this thing parked, and load up our bird, and see you in a minute. Well guys, we're all packed up and headed out to take our parrot to the bird setter for the next couple of days for this trip, and everything's all loaded up to include you know who. He is not a fan of going to be boarded
One time we put him in the boarding facility, and he was parked next to a bunch of very large birds. I think he still suffers from PTSD because of that. Because where he's genetically from, large birds are predators, right? Yeah. So he also doesn't like hawks that are flying in the air outside his window. So he has a little towel that he can hide under to make sure the hawks aren't trying to actually get him. So I even put one here in the car so he can have a little bit of comfort if he sees a bird flying around that he doesn't like. To include large airplanes. He thinks they're predators and they're coming to get him. So we got about an hour's drive to where we're going to park him. And you know, you would think in a city as large as the 5 cities of Hampton Roads, there would be another place close by. Well, not really. Not anybody we trust. So we'll take the drive to the place where they have a little bit higher standard of quality of service. Because after all, he is family. Taking Dimitri over to where we have him boarded is stressful. I think it's more stressful for me than it is for the bird. He has a limited vocabulary, about 5 or 7 words, and typically 1-syllable words. And it's hard to believe that he actually uses them to communicate when he wants something. He doesn't just mimic the human voice at random. When he is someplace that he doesn't want to be and he wants to be someplace else, his word is bye-bye. I know technically it's a 2-syllable word, but he couldn't get that out. Bye-bye. So on the way over, he kept saying bye-bye because he didn't want to be in the cage in the front seat with me. He wanted to be back home in his big cage. But every time I tried to turn the camera on to capture him talking, he wouldn't talk. He is camera shy. So anyway, got him all set up. And now I'm fighting traffic to get back home across the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Like we said in one of our more recent videos, you can't get around Hampton Roads without taking a bridge or a tunnel. Need to go home and get some final packing done. But before I do, I gotta tell you a colorful story. I gotta tell you this story. We've all had the telemarketing calls that are scams where it's either the IRS saying you owe them money or something of that nature. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I get one from the Social Security Administration that my Social Security number has been suspended. Well, I was looking to be entertained, so I was on the phone with this guy, and you know, he shared with me how the Better Business Bureau had issued a warrant for my arrest for a fraudulent transaction involving my Social Security number. Blah, 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 blah. I found it most entertaining. I just said, well, come and get me. Anyway, hung up with them. And a week later, I get a call, and it says, this is the Division of Motor Vehicles. And I'm thinking, another scam job. Because in my entire life, DMV has never initiated a telephone call to me. I just can't imagine why DMV would. But they went on to tell me that I had purchased a Can-Am Freedom trailer, and they told me where I bought it from, when I bought it from, and that there's a problem with the title. I'm thinking, these scammers have done their research. But I'm looking to be entertained, so I didn't hang up on the woman, so I played along, and I went, so what's the problem exactly? She goes, can you tell me your license plate number on your trailer? And I said, tell you what, why don't you tell me what you have? And she did. And it was different from what I have here. The number was transposed. And I said, that's not what I have. She goes, I thought so. We've made a typo here at DMV. I went, holy cow, this is really DMV. So they said they're going to send me a new tag for my trailer. So today, I get the new tag. Noticed a little bit of a difference. They've just transposed 2 of the numbers. So good thing I didn't hang up on them. And I told the woman from DMV, the irony of it was, back in June was the Asphalt Odyssey. I hauled this trailer over 4,600 miles across 13 states. I can't imagine what would have happened if I would have got stopped by a police officer and they realized the registration card that I had didn't match the tag. They'd have been well within their authority to tow the trailer off the highway to an impound lot until I can get proper registration to put it back on the road. It could have been a very interesting saga, but it didn't happen. So it just makes for another colorful story. So not all phone calls from government agencies are scams. Occasionally, they're true.
Well guys, we're going to start winding up today's video. It's a short video, but tomorrow morning should be a little exciting. Looking forward to that. Not looking forward to flying coach on an airline that's booked to capacity. So that should be interesting, but looking forward to getting to Utah. That should be a very, very nice trip. So guys, finish packing here and get things organized. So we will catch you next time on the road to Utah.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up
If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down.
and don't forget to subscribe.
Feel free to leave a comment below.